Right. All right. What's happening, everybody? We are back for another edition to the Conscious Approach video series on YouTube. My name is JV Wins. As always, that is Dogon SS here to kick it with y'all, talking about society, culture, sports, music, whatever y'all want to talk about, or rather, whatever we want to talk about, right? So before we get into this week's stream, gonna kick things off by reiterating to go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that you can join the tribe. Get those notifications whenever new content is published to the channel. Hit that like button if you like or don't like what we have to say on this or any other video, and let us know what you think about what we have to say via the commentary on in the comment section, because we certainly appreciate the back and forth. Thanks to everybody who has been subscribing to the channel. We are pushing this thing along slowly but surely, getting to the big time on the mountaintop. And we certainly appreciate everybody who has joined us for the ride. So thank you for that. And if you have not done so, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because whether you're watching this via the stream or whether you're watching it via one of our individual uploads, the invitation to kick it with us whenever we do these things is always open. So thank you to everyone who has done so. Thank you in advance to everybody who will do so in the future. Now, with that out of the way, we'll go ahead and get things started off. First thing that we are going to talk about today is comments made by Bow Wow and reactions to Bow Wow's comments that came from DJ Envy and Charlamagne. So Bow Wow recently talked about how he thinks that hip hop is trash. And DJ Envy and Charlamagne did not appreciate Bow Wow's comments too much. Or not necessarily that they didn't appreciate it, they just disagree with him. So Bow Wow recently was asked about the state of hip hop, and he unapologetically gave his opinion, basically saying that he feels as though it's formulaic, everything sounds the same, and so on and so forth. He is obviously not the first artist to make such claims. I do think that, though, he is one of the first artists of his generation who has talked like this, I would say. Um, of course, there's more, research that can be done in that regard. But Bow Wow's in our generation. I don't think that any of the millennials or younger have talked about how they think that this music has sort of gone backwards. It's usually been more the old heads who have said stuff like that. So it's interesting that Bow Wow being, I think Bow Wow still at this point like early 30s. He might be like 34, 35, something like that. I got to fact check that one. But
Yeah, I'll look that up.
yeah, be that as it may, Bow Wow did say he thinks that hip hop is trash, and Envy and Charlemagne don't agree with him. So this article from Hot New Hip Hop gives us all the context that we need. It says DJ Envy disagrees with Bow Wow's take that hip hop is, quote, trash. No matter what era of hip hop you're in, there's always been a conversation around the good old days and whether the genre is as good as it could be. A lot of that debate centers itself around the old guard versus the new, and usually results in heated back and forth. Moreover, we saw a recent exchange of this thanks to Bow Wow at the BET Awards. When asked about no rap artist placing at number one on the Billboard chart so far this year, the rapper pointed blame at the current generation's lack of quality output. Whether you agree or not is another matter, but for a veteran of the game, his assessment seems short sighted. Quote, because niggas putting out trash ass music, Bow Wow expressed. Everything sounded like, everything repetitive, same tempo. Everybody could do that. You know what I'm saying? You really got to have talent. You really got to go. I think people are starting to get tired of it now. That's why you don't see nothing charting. This prompted many disagreements from the rap community, including a salient one from DJ Envy. Furthermore, the Breakfast Club host spoke to TMZ on Wednesday about this take, and he attributed the sheer quantity of music to this phenomenon rather than quality. In addition, Envy named up and comers and established acts alike, such as Young Nutty, Tootsie, 21 Savage, and Drake, as examples of great hip hop. Quote, I think it's just a matter of time, he remarked. I just think that we're just consuming so much music now, and it's kind of hard for music to stick. Usually we had music and we'd rock for a whole summer or a couple of months, but now it seems we're turning music over too fast. End quote. Meanwhile, another host from the radio show to disagree with Bow Wow's comments was Charlamagne the God. Still, this wasn't a direct response to that assessment, but rather a general takedown of people criticizing contemporary rap before all this. He said that the genre is thriving and that anyone who thinks it's dying is, quote, stuck in an era. Regardless, stay logged into Hot New Hip Hop for the latest news and updates on Bow Wow and DJ Envy, yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, there you go. DJ Envy says that it's just too much music. And so we're going through it too fast for any of it to stick. And that's why some of it's not charting. But he still contends that the quality of the music and the genre is doing well, thriving. And Charlamagne says it is doing very well. And basically, if you don't think so, you're old. That's essentially what Charlamagne said, is that you're old if you think that it's not good. So
Yeah.
Charlemagne's, of course, doing the ages thing, which is
Hmm.
what a lot of people in this genre do. Unfortunately, hip hop has become very ageist. So if you have if you have some sort of dissenting opinion, it must be because you're old. That's what hip hop has become, unfortunately. A very toxic aspect of the genre in and of itself. But what did you think of what Bow Wow had to say, and what did you think of Envy and Charlemagne's response to what Bow Wow had to say? Do you think it's trash like Bow Wow, or not, or do you think it's somewhere in the middle?
I think it's trash. I agree with him saying that it's trash. But I also think him saying that is very ironic because he's trash. So, and if you want to look at old rap and the trajectory of old rap and where it was headed, and then like where it was headed when it first got started, even up until the early '90s, the trajectory that was going on, the topics they were talking about, it was all headed to me towards a more uh, positive and artistic direction. But then you can look at the era where Bow Wow was doing things, and it was underneath the curve. It's actually worse than the early forms of hip hop and rap. So in his placement, if he likes to think that where he was at was fire, it wasn't. It was trash. The wild part about it is the part where Bow Wow, the era he was rapping in, was up here compared to what these guys are doing now. So relatively speaking, they are more trash than his era, but his era is trash compared to where hip hop should actually be.
Yeah.
So I find him saying this hella ironic and yeah, dude, you're part of the problem. These kids are following the formula that Jermaine Dupri put out for you. And so whether you think that you're trill or not, even though T.I. and other people were collaborating to write your rhymes, so you don't even have your own bars. So again, sir, you're a part of the problem, not the solution. So I don't want to hear anything that Bow Wow has to say about modern rap because he's responsible for some of this crap. And dealing with DJ Envy and Charlemagne, for Pete's sake, for them sitting there caping for this new age trash, this sewage, this sludge, and for them to be sitting there going, "Oh yeah, nah, this is just as trill. Y'all just sleep because y'all's just stuck in y'all old ways. The sounds, the sonics have changed, and you guys got to get with the times with depression rap, popping pills, and twerking." I gotta listen to that. That's what I have to subject myself to. Yeah, you're just getting old. You got to get with the signs of the times. And no, I don't agree with that either. And I feel like that's just them being old people placating to the younger generation because they're the ones that's going to be consuming from people like them in the first place. So they have to be allies with these trash people because they want to be able to still make their financial upcomings. So I feel like both sides have vested interest in the statements that they made. Bow Wow was played out, and he said, "Hey, listen to people like me," which is ironic because you suck. And
Yeah.
then DJ Envy and them playing it up for keeping their wallets a little bit greener and for them to stay relevant in the minds and the eyes of the younger generation. So, how about you, sir? How do you feel about this? Do you think Bow Weezy got a point here, or do you think DJ Envy and Charlemagne has got this one all figured out?
I think that what you said was right on. Is relatively speaking, it's an interesting comment to hear from Bow Wow because it's funny because I chart the degradation of hip hop to the dance era, which is what Bow Wow was a part of. So Bow Wow was popping around the same time that D4L and Franchise Boys and all of that stuff was going down.
Mhm.
And to me, that stuff was when it started to go downhill. Back then, I was told that I'm crazy because I don't think that that stuff is good.
Mhm.
But if you juxtapose that music, lean with it, rock with it, and my white tee and and
Yeah.
and all of those other songs. What's the other one?
Laffy Taffy.
Yeah, Laffy Taffy. That's the one I'm trying to think of. Yeah. If you
Uh,
compare all of that to this depression, let's just get wasted and party. Or if we're not just getting wasted and party, let me talk about how my homeboys ain't with me no more because I'm famous, and nobody loves me, and because I'm on, and I'm sad, and the world is against me. There's that one Derez Deshawn. He had that one song that was that's probably what his most popular song. I think is "Fed Up," and there was a line in the song where he was like, "How do you say that you ride with me when you don't even like none of my Instagram pics?" And people are rapping along to the song, and I'm actually listening to this dude rapping this, and I'm like, "Are y'all serious?"
no,
So
but
this guy is
seriously,
basically
but
saying
seriously
that he
though,
has no friends because these people don't like his Instagram pics.
yeah, bro.
That to me,
No, I'm saying
I'm
like,
just,
do people really fuck with you though if they don't like your picture though? If they see a
I,
thing.
I guess that's and that's why I think it's trash now, and that's what I'm saying. So yeah, it's trash. And so like, and what's interesting is the Snap era and the white tee stuff and the Bow Wow
Yeah.
stuff, comparatively speaking, is, in my opinion, a step up from a lot of what's going on currently. I just think that, comparatively, you're right. And that's funny to hear Bow Wow saying that because even Bow Wow, who was a part of swinging the pendulum in one particular direction, saying that, it's interesting. It's an interesting perspective.
Mhm.
But my biggest problem with this is with Charlamagne and DJ Envy. These two guys represent more than any other artist what's wrong with this music, in my
Mhm.
opinion.
Mhm.
And I said this when we talked about, I think it was when we talked about Faison, Love, and Lizzo, I think. The coddling, the culture of coddling and co-signing in this genre is absolutely disgusting. And it's the reason why bad music is heralded as good music and why the bad music continues to persist. Because we're living in this age where media is king and content is king, the hip hop music landscape from a journalistic and reporting perspective is too chicken shit to be critical. I have said this thousands of times and I'll continue to say it because it's true. You'll never hear any of these people who host these podcasts or these radio shows or these streaming shows or whatever you consume this stuff from say that an album is not good. You'll never hear them say that an artist needs work, that a particular album isn't good, that a particular artist needs to improve their skills. You'll never hear any critical commentary because they're too afraid to offend these sensitive ass artists. Because these artists live in an echo chamber and believe everything they do is good because they're surrounded by people who tell them all their shit is good. So any dissenting opinion is viewed as an attack. So they think that you hate them and their entire existence just because you said that a particular piece of music that they put out isn't that great. And so they become they're so triggered that now you don't want to risk alienating them because you want them to come on your show. You want to still be able to do these interviews. You still want to be able to get the clout off of them coming onto your platform. You want to be able to get the pics for social media, for Instagram, so you can say, hey, this artist stopped by the show, check us out, blah, blah, blah. You need the algorithm to serve you up. And in order for the algorithm to serve you up, you need the goodwill of these artists. And so you can't alienate them by actually telling the truth, which is they put out bad music and they're not good at this stuff. And as a result, you coddle them. in order to, generate the goodwill, in order to get them to be on the show. This, in my opinion, is what has most greatly contributed to why the music is trash. I do agree with Bow Wow. I think it sucks. I think most of it is not good. You can call me old if you want. I don't give a damn. But I agree with you. Why does me saying I don't want to hear people telling me to pop pills all day, or serve all day, or twerk all day, or spend $10,000 on a bag just so I can get some chick to have sex with me all day?
Oh my
Why
God.
do I need to listen or listen to music all day with a woman telling me that I can't date her unless I'm rich? I don't think me not wanting to hear that all day means that I'm stuck in an era. Maybe objectively speaking, it just means the music is trash. Maybe it just means the music is trash. And newsflash to all of you hip hop journalists out there: Nas, King's Disease 1, 2, and 3, phenomenal albums. Nas, the Magic album, great. I'm not the biggest fan of J. Cole, but that comeback season, or whatever his last album was called, good stuff. Kendrick, the Half Steppers album, good stuff. Pusha T, It's Almost Dry, Daytona, some of these other albums being put out by these other artists who don't do that all day long, or even if they do, play to low hanging fruit, because Pusha T
Mm-hmm.
still leans into the coke raps, but he's
Mm-hmm.
so good at it lyrically that I'll let it slide, because she's just ripping it all day on every song. He never misses a beat, man.
I
So
hear
like,
that.
all of you hip hop journalists out there who want to tell me Young Nudie or Nutty or however the hell you pronounce his name and Tootsie is good music. I don't even know who that kid is. I'm assuming he's a jit, or any of this other crap that y'all try to sell to me as good music. How about we put more balance into this game and spotlight some of these other artists doing things better, so that we can at least provide a more realistic representation of what the landscape of this music looks like. But this genre is so hyper obsessed with staying young that these young people come into it, they make bad music, and then they're heralded for it because you don't want to alienate them. So I don't want to hear nothing from Charlamagne and DJ Envy, because they're a part of the problem. They bring these trash artists onto that show, The Breakfast Club, all the time, and I listen and I watch, and all they do is ask them questions and affirm the trash music that they put out by co-signing it and telling them how good it is. And that is far worse than any comments that Bow Wow is going to make to the contrary. So I don't like, I agree with what Bow Wow said. Even though he was a part of, bringing it down initially, I'm going to take his comments in stride, because I think people like Charlamagne and Envy are contributing even more so to what's so bad about this music nowadays. They need to go away. We need more people in rap, hip hop, whatever the hell you want to call it, who do these shows, who are who are courageous enough to be critical and call stuff out for being trash. There's not enough of that. And because there is not enough of that, it is bad. And Bow Wow's right.
Yeah, and to speak on that last little part you talked about, but there, there's such this thing in our culture of being haters. Like you don't want to be you try that man eating, bro. He trying to put food on his family. He making money, bro. Why you trying to bring him down? See you crabs in the barrel. Hey man, this guy's talking about uh finessing me financially. He's not talking about good business practices. He's calling the women in my neighborhood whores and bitches. He's talking about selling drugs to my nephews and uncles.
He's talking
So
about, and he's talking about willingly taking my woman away from me.
yeah,
He'll just
he
do it
and
on
brag about it.
purpose. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he'll just do it.
yeah, because I'm a broke boy, because I'm an honest working man and not a scammer. Yeah, this is what's going on, and I call him trash, and I say that he's detrimental to my community, and I'm hating because I'm taking food off his plate, bro. He's messing up our community. Period. So who's the biggest hater? The guy that's trying to correct, the guy that's trying to brainwash your kid. Who's in the right and who's in the wrong here? Because that if you let that guy just rap with impunity, then he's going to tell your children, not you viewers, but you know what I'm getting at. He's going to tell your
Right.
children to be a degenerate. So no, I'm not hating on another black man. I'm not trying to tear another black man down. That man's music is tearing black men down. So I'm not advocating for his crap or his trash. Sewage is what I call it. Belongs in a septic tank. And I don't want to hear that in my playlist. So for DJ Envy and Charlamagne to be sitting there caping for these labels and stuff, because that's who really paid him. And so and they put these goofy artists in front of our face, because the new wave is these people aren't really behind the label. They're just making it by themselves, which is trash. These big people that's in your face that you don't want to see, and but you keep hearing about, the Ice Spices of the world. These are done. There's behind the shadows strings getting pulled for these people to be in your feed, and so those same strings pay these companies to do radio interviews. So what does DJ Envy and Charlamagne look like biting the hands that feed them? They don't care about the art form. The art form is turned into commercialized garbage. So it's no longer about art, it's about mass production. And so now in the days of streaming, it's just get it out, get it out, get it out. So Envy talking about something, people are digesting too soon. Whose fault is that? This is all of this stuff is contributions of the industry that they are making sure is turned into a commodity, as you mentioned before. This is no longer about art. This is all about pushing, selling, selling, selling. And so when you have that, you have this GMO, non-organic garbage that's killing everybody. And so who is sitting there at the grocery store telling me that these GMOs are still as good as organic fruit? These bastards. And I ingest this crap all the time. And now I got indigestion from trying to digest all of this trash. So when I say I don't want this garbage anymore, I want my kids listening to this. You tell me I'm old? Nah, dude. I just know how the proper system works and how real food used to taste. And this is crap. So Charlamagne, DJ Envy, they can stick it where the sun doesn't shine.
They really
But
could.
but
They
most
really can.
likely, and you may not co-sign this part, but most likely, but most likely, given those two's history, they probably like it up there in the first goddamn place. So I don't want to hear nothing those clowns have to say, man, because they just sit here and, like I said, they cape for these major labels, and these major labels don't care about art no more. So yeah, I'm with you, bro. There's still good art out there being created, but you just got to go digging for it. And anything that's readily available, pass through your feed, you heard on the radio or in a club or in a bar, most likely that ain't what you should be listening to. You got to try to dumpster dive, what I'm saying, some A&E kind of stuff, and find the diamonds in the rough, because it's so much music being made that there has to be good shit out there. You just got to go find it, which kind of always was the thing since mainstream became mainstream, but there's still an oversaturation of trash, I would say, though, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And point out an example of something that had an intention and a clear direction before it became popular, and then once it became popular and mass produced, it didn't become warped into something different.
Exactly.
You get this all the time. People in other fields, in other arts, do it. Like, people got mad, like Harry Potter, for example, right? Or anything, any example. You get those people who will swear up and down the books are better. The books are better. The books are better. Y'all sitting out here watching these movies, they don't change so much. They've diluted the quality of the original art form in the book by putting this movie together, and it sucks. And the book was better. Like, point out anything that was inherently better before it became mass produced. Music is no different, especially this genre. This is a major genre now. It's consumed by everybody. And so what's so unique about hip hop in particular is that it was something that was developed to speak to the heart of a particular plight. But because it's mass produced, like the heart and soul of it is it tries to retain some of that, but the sheer commercialization of it, there's like this weird tug and pull where the commercialization of it goes against the heart and soul, but there are still stewards within the game who are trying to retain that heart and soul. And they're fighting a losing battle. And those stewards are the same people who, similar to the people who will say the books are better, are trying to say, hey man, some of this stuff is a de-evolution of what it used to be due to mass production and commercialization. And that's not just with arts, it's with anything in commerce or industry. Food becomes mass produced, you lose nutrients, you lose quality, you lose health. Health risks go up when something gets whenever you need to microwave something to put it out better, to put it out faster at a greater rate, you're going to lose some of the good qualities of it, if not all of it. It's just the nature of putting out something at that kind of an increased rate. And so it's not a shocker to see that this has happened to this particular form of music. But what pisses me off so much is all of these people who, might be in bed with labels or whatever their vested interest is. I like to keep it basically on, they just have an interest to propel their own platform.
Mhm.
So Envy and Charlamagne don't care. Like you said, I agree 100%. They don't care about the health of the genre. They don't care about the health of the music. They don't care about the artist per se. They don't care about how good the music actually is. They just want to get 100,000 views every time a Breakfast Club video drops on YouTube. They want to make sure that when they take that pic for Instagram, that it gets hundreds of thousands of likes with the artist on the Instagram. They want to get as much spins to their platform as possible. So, in an effort to do that, they will soullessly placate to this bad art that's running rampant because it's a means to an end to get more algorithmic spins for whatever it is that they got going on. So it's this perfect storm of bad music being made and bad music being supported because the support of the bad music is a good thing for these platforms. And it just goes full circle. And it's unfortunate because I don't see it too much happening with other genres, at least not as much. I'm pretty sure it probably does. These things tend not to be super isolated, but is it happening at an increased rate the way that it's happening with hip hop, rap, whatever you want to call it? I'd be hard pressed to say it is because I got Sirius XM. I listen to my shows all week and I'm trying. I try to find the new music that's good, the newer artists that do good music. And for the most part, it's bad. And I say that unapologetically. If you don't like it, you can, have this new music and go be with God. And, when you got a 14-year-old daughter who wants to wear a see through dress, where nothing's on underneath, but she just wants to wear the see-through dress because that's all that's in her feed and in her music. You tell me how you reconcile you consuming this nonsense with wanting to raise a daughter who doesn't want to dress like that. So obviously this goes deeper than that, but I think that just on the surface, the commentary around the music is what has damaged it most. No one wants to be critical of bad art within this context, and that to me is the biggest problem. It's unfortunate. But I think Bow Wow's correct. It's bad.
Yeah, and I'll just say this: that whole industry, man, the blogging industry. As you mentioned, they just want to stay in the good graces of these artists because that's just the play. Everybody's dope. Every project is fire,
Every
and
album's a classic. Yeah.
yeah, and that's
Yeah.
like, bro, that wasn't dope, bro. And they just gas these people up, and then what ends up happening is the young and impressionable viewers, they're like, oh yeah, DJ so and so said that so and so's dope, so yeah, he's dope. And then what happens is they wire their, because you try to figure out why these kids think certain songs are fire. It's because the the group think in their cohort is saying that's fire. Some of it I hear, I go, I see why you think that's fire. I'll give you a pass. Other stuff, it goes, how is this fire to y'all? But
Yeah.
at the same time, we just didn't grow up in that cohort. So they're used to synthetic. It's kind of like these people that grew up. It's like just growing up looking at BBLs and thinking that that's attractive. And it's just like, nah, bro, like, the real thing. And the BBLs are emulating the real thing. So Like, what are you doing? But they you'll see the ones that don't know the difference, or know the difference, but there is no difference. A woman's a woman.
Yeah. Right.
And it's just
Yeah.
like, nah, dude, like it's not. And so you hear them and you can see what they see in the BBLs, but you go, no, that's stupid though. And so the same thing with these songs where they're saying real shit, where they say, hey man, you think that the people that's there for you really gonna show up for you, it's like, "Oh, okay, that's true." But every song, every bar is about people letting you down and everybody around you fake, and nobody understands you.
Can't
It's
trust
like,
these hoes,
yeah, you
and
can't trust
yeah,
these, like, none all of this stuff, every song.
yeah,
So, it just gets yeah, it's just too much. And you try to figure out, where their mindset is. Then when you see certain things that they do on social media, some of the behaviors that they're doing, and you go, wow, what's that? Hey man, look at what they're consuming.
yeah,
And then you'll see that this type of behavior isn't so far-fetched. So in a nutshell, it is trash. The enablers like DJ Envy and Charlamagne's, people here at the Conscious Approach know better than to allow them to incept them with such trash. So
yeah. Very well
mhm.
said. Those two guys, in my opinion, are they're like in the olden days, there was the court jester,
Mm.
the clown figure who would entertain the royal court. Back in those days, they would do goofy stuff and light themselves on fire and read bad poetry. Like rappers today, a lot of rappers today are I view them as court jesters. And I think people like Charlamagne and Envy are the people who used to be in the royal court who will go out and find the court jester to come in and entertain the king and the queen. Like you're
Yeah,
just
basically.
enabling this whole you're enabling bad art, bad, all of it is just bad.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just think that these people are court jesters, and this might be the one rare instance. Well, maybe not, but this is one of the rare instances in which I'll co-sign something Bow Wow has to say.
Yeah, it's
So,
crazy. It's crazy.
oh man,